Hey, we're back for another mobility video. This is kind of an intermediate mobility video. So if you've already done the first more beginner style one and you're comfortable with it, move on to this one. Or if you're pretty loosey-goosey to begin with, try this one. So it's a few more advanced moves. I'll show you modifications and we'll see how we do. We have 7 moves. We'll run through the flow together. And if you want to repeat it as usual, you can always repeat it. So I do have a foam pad. You can have a folded towel if you think you're going to need some cushion for the kneeling ones, because there is a kneeling one or two that you might want a little cushion for your knees. So that's the only equipment I have for this one. I'm going to get my timer started. We're going to do each move, depending on what it is, for about 30 seconds to a minute, and we'll flow through it. All right, the first one, it's kind of a repeat from one of the modifications for the first mobility video. It's this 90-90 stretch. So you're going to get in this position, 90-degree bend in the knee and in the hip on both legs. You're going to stay nice and tall. If you want some support, support yourself with your hands behind you, and you're going to switch side to side, trying to stay nice and tall. Try not to lean back too much. You want to feel it more in the hips. If this feels easy, your modification to progress it, arms up, coming this way. It's a little bit tighter for the hips. It's more of a core challenge as well. All right. We are going to go for a minute with that one since we're going side to side. All right. So whichever one you want, hands behind or hands above. Let's start in this position and then we'll switch. All right. Up we go. Side to side. You're kind of just rotating on your sit bones. One hip goes into internal rotation while the other hip goes into external rotation. Nice and tall. Try to keep the knees bent. Nice and slow. If you want to stay longer in each position before you switch, then you can hang out there longer. Go at your own pace. And back to the front. All right. The next one, I call it Spider-Man step-in. Some people call it world's greatest stretch. You're going to start in a plank position. Hands and toes. You're going to step one foot out to the outside of that same side hand. If you're only here, that's fine. Get it as far as you can. And then we're going to rotate up that same side arm to the ceiling, looking up with your eyes, and then back down, and then we'll switch to the other leg. All right. So we will also do this one for about a minute since we're switching back and forth. All right. So start in a plank and we'll step forward. Plank up, foot outside a hand. You can hang out here for a second. You can rock. You can kind of bounce. You want to reach up to the ceiling and bring your hand back down. Step back. Other foot outside of other hand. Get a little bounce and rock. Reach up to the ceiling. And come back down. You should feel that hip of the forward foot really getting stretched. Step forward again. Reach up. Another progression, if this is still easy. When you come down, see if you can get your elbow to the floor or to your ankle, the shin. But if this is easy, see if you can get lower with that elbow. All right, step back. Other foot forward. Last one. Reach up to the ceiling. Come down. If you want to try the elbow on that side. That is a deep stretch. All right. That's one of my favorite ones. I could do that for probably 3 minutes straight. All right. Next, we're going to get into the ankle mobility. I'm going to use a pad to kneel on. I'm going to kneel on one knee, bring the other one in front. This one's going to be for ankle mobility. So this one we're getting into the joint. We're working on joint mobility, not necessarily muscle length and muscle mobility. So you're going to lunge forward, trying to get your knee past your toes. If you'd like, you can go up against a wall, put your fist between your toe and the bottom of the wall, and from that distance, see if you can get your knee to touch the wall. But we're just going to hold this and try to stretch out this ankle joint so that we improve this dorsiflexion angle, this range of motion here. All right, so we'll do this side for 30 seconds, and then we'll do the other side. All right, going into it. And you can keep this kneeling knee close to you. It doesn't have to be stretched out behind you. We're not doing a hip flexor stretch. Keep your heel on the floor. If you want to hold it, that can help. Push your knee, try to get it over your toes. I kind of like to hold both areas. Hold my ankle down and push my knee forward. All right. You should feel a little stretch in the ankle joint itself with that one. Same thing with the other side. Get that foot in front. You want to keep your knee down. You want the knee to go past the toes. All right. All right. Get forward. Hold that knee down if you want. Push forward. I'll show you a modification for this as well. If this doesn't feel good to be in this low lunge position, I'll show you how to do it sitting. All right, come out of that. So if you were to do it sitting, sit in a chair or somewhere with an open bottom, you are going to scoot your butt as close forward to the forward edge as you can. You bring your foot back, try and get your knee over your toes, and try to keep that heel down. So you can kind of just do it sitting like this. Similar, but way easier than kneeling on the other knee if that's not comfortable for you. Knee past toes while you're sitting, and then to come out of it, you can kind of just scoot your butt back. So all you'd be doing is changing your sitting position on the chair or wherever you are. Knee over toes, and then come back. All right, so that's a modification. Okay, back on the floor. We're going to do a pigeon pose. You can do this one on the floor like I'm going to show you. If you think that's going to be too hard, you can do it on a surface like the back of a couch, a bed, up here. So this is an option. Try to get your shin parallel with the floor. Knee bent to 90, hip to 90, and you would hinge forward, just staying like this or down here. If that's easy, you can get on the floor, which is what we're going to do here. So try to get that shin in front of you. Knee bent to 90, bent at the hip at 90. Get your other leg straight out behind you. And see if you can kind of just sink into that and hold this. If this is easy, propped up on your hands, see if you can get down on your elbows. That is too aggressive for me, at least to hold for 30 seconds, so I'm going to stay propped up. All right. Just like this, you should really feel a good stretch in the hip of that front leg. If you need to loosen up on yourself, you can bring your foot towards your body so your knee's a little bit more bent. Then it won't feel so aggressive in the hips. But to make it harder, try to get that shin more forward. All right, let's switch. Get set up. Try to get that shin forward. Get that other leg behind you. Prop up on your hands. All right. Let's hold this. Again, one side might feel harder than the other. That's normal. So if you could do it one way but have to modify your position for the other side, then modify. Just make it work. Each side is not going to be symmetrical. It might not look the same left to right. All right. 3, 2, 1. Come out of that. All right. Now we're going to get into hips and hamstrings at the same time. This is a two-part move. So we're going to start as low of a squat as you can get. You're going to get your hands under your toes or under the insides of your feet. And from this position, where you're already getting a stretch in your hips, you're going to pop your butt straight up and get into the hamstrings, keeping the knees straight. Then we're going to come back down. So we're just going to transition from squat to hamstring stretch up and down. We're going to go for a full minute. All righty. Grab your feet, get in a squat, or as low as you can. Even if you start here, that's all right. Go from here up. All right, 1 minute. From a squat, kind of feel that stretch in the hips a little bit there. You can kind of pry side to side. And then pop up, butt straight in the air, knees straight. Same thing, kind of sway side to side. Come back down, get into the hips, side to side. And pop your butt up, side to side. Pop back down. On up. Down. Last time up. All right. Good job. All right, one more. Frog rocks. You are going to get into like a wide kneeling position on your hands and knees, feet together behind you. And I'll show you from the side. Wide knees, feet together, hands underneath you. And you are going to rock back. It's kind of like getting into child's pose. And then rock forward as far as you comfortably can. We're just going to rock back and forth like this, looking like a little frog. We're going to go 30 seconds back and forth. All right. Ready, set, start at the back, forward, back. Of course, if this doesn't feel comfortable, bring your knees closer together or bring your feet farther apart so that your feet are more in line with your knees instead of together. That might be a little bit more available to your hips. Back and forth. Feel a good stretch in those hip joints all the way around. Give a little rock, a little sway. And let's keep going. Let's make it a minute. And allow your arms to give you a good amount of support. It's not just all putting weight on your legs. Allow your arms to support you so you can get a little bit more mobility in the hips. One more time back. All right, good. All right, I hope y'all got something out of that. It's a good little mobility flow to go through before a run, after a run, with one of your strength workouts or on a rest day. It's just a good way to kind of move your body through different ranges of motion to stay loosey-goosey and mobile. All right, see y'all next time.